Okay, thanks. Can everyone see my screen? Fantastic. Okay, well, welcome everyone. It is great to have you here for our latest quarterly State of the College address. Honored to have all of you with us. Thank you for taking some time out of your day for just an update on all things going on with the college. Here's quickly what we're going to talk about today. I'd like to start with some reasons to celebrate. I know it's been a really challenging year, so I think it's important for us to take at least a few minutes to talk about some things that we really do, even in the midst of this crisis, have to celebrate. We're going to look at an update for 2021 and some of our operational considerations. We're going to talk about the FY22 budget, which starts on July 1st, and obviously the legislature is getting ready to meet in January on that. We'll talk about just some reading of the tea leaves. I want to address some communication strategies that we're putting into place and really get your feedback. We can kind of turn that into a dialogue, a discussion. I want to end with a value proposition, a question for you, and I want to plant the seeds for you to be thinking about some things that I think can help us as a college get to the next level. And then we'll finish with just an open session, questions and answers, town hall style, anything that anyone has to offer. So for those of you who subscribe to the Washington Post, this was in the Post a few days ago. It was an article about New Mexico and how aggressive we've been with the virus, and even with that, the challenges. But of course, the photo that they use of our governor in the Washington Post is the best one I could have possibly asked for. And so I want to take a moment. By the way, this is the same photo that was used on the NBC Nightly News a couple of weeks ago. And so to Sandy and Stephanie, who really worked diligently on getting these masks, to Amy Pena, who had the great idea to give one of these to the governor and to the governor's staff, that has just paid dividends to us. So always good to see Northern New Mexico College in the national news. Davis Scholarship. This is the second year in a row that we're talking about this, but there are two Upward Bound students who are both recipients now of this year's Davis Scholarships, Linda Guzman and Aldo Arevalo. Aldo's name might sound familiar to some of you. Aldo's father, Aldo Sr., is on our facilities crew and is a student at Northern. But Linda and Aldo, both recipients of this Davis Scholarship, each of these scholarships is worth up to $250,000. And so to say that it's not a big deal is a woeful understatement. This is a huge deal. The other thing I think all of us need to say is that, you know, this doesn't happen on accident. Obviously, the students who are winning these scholarships are superstars, same as last year. But it also takes a really powerful mentor and advisor and champion, and that is Dr. Toby Botlion. So I want to say a special thank you to Toby for his work and his commitment to the Upward Bound program and to these amazing students from Espanola Valley High School. Dr. Botlions, do you want to say a couple words? I'd like to open it up if you have anything you'd like to say.
Oh geez.
No pressure, no pressure.
No, just thank you for those kind words, and we have a really wonderful team that makes all of this possible, and we're very proud of both of these students and all of our students. And yep, they're both part of the Northern family for life, no matter where they go. Linda also hopefully will be getting her associate's degree with us by the time she graduates high school. So they're both two academic superstars, two wonderful people, and it's an honor to be able to be part of their journeys and the Davis Scholarship as well. So thank you for the shout out.
Thank you, Dr. Botlions. I think we can all say that Toby is now officially the $1 Million Man, based on the amount of scholarships he's been able to shepherd for his students. So please give congratulations to Linda and Aldo, and to Toby for his and thank you to Toby for his amazing service. Virtual Giving Tree. So obviously we talked about this a little bit, but you know, I want to say a special thank you both to our Student Senate for kind of organizing this with the students, and also for all of our faculty and staff who have volunteered so far. We're doing a version of what we did last year, but in this sense, these are children of our students who can really benefit from some extra holiday cheer this year. Our students who are the parents told us here are the ages of their children. some of the things that those children are interested in. And now we're going to do this virtually. We're going to have faculty and staff who are going to go online and actually purchase gifts and send them to the students' addresses to kind of add a little bit to the holiday season. Amy, I think, has the final numbers so far. We are very close to having a donor for every child on that list. Amy, do you have the final numbers of where we're at right now?
We're down to 12 children that we need donors for.
And how many children total are we going to be able to help with this?
Joshua has a list. Joshua, are you on? He's got the final list.
Yes, we're at 76.
Awesome. Okay, so there are 76 little ones right now. And I was going to do some crazy math. So we have 64 donors so far. We have a safety net, so don't worry. We will make sure that all of these children have a gift this year. But if you haven't signed up yet and you would like to, please let Amy know as soon as possible, actually, because we're already pairing up donors with these students. So yeah, please talk to Amy if you'd like to, and we'll make sure that we get the rest of these kiddos taken care of for the holidays. That's special thanks to Sandy and others who kind of helped us to generate this, and to Joshua, Evelyn, and the rest of the Student Senate for all of the organizing that they're doing. It's really a project that they are leading, and we're really proud to be partnered with them on this. Newest higher education department superstar. So one of the things I always say is that anytime, and this is true in the military, anytime you have a really high performing, high functioning team, it's the nature of things that at some point that other organizations are going to come knocking because they're going to want a taste of that success, and we're no exception. And so, although this is bittersweet, it was not unexpected. So Dr. Patricia Trujillo and Stephanie Montoya are now working at the higher education department for the state. They were selected by the governor. Dr. Trujillo is now serving as the deputy secretary for HED, and Stephanie is now serving as the chief information officer for HED. And they're both right out of the gate. They're both just doing amazing things and representing us very well. So I know we've had a chance to celebrate them, but in your future correspondence with them, please remind them that we're really grateful to their service to the college, and we're excited about the trajectory that they're on. Jasmine Lopez, you probably, if you've been to a board meeting, you've probably heard me mention her name. Jasmine is one of our alumni who recently got accepted to Johns Hopkins University for a master's in science writing at Johns Hopkins. And so this is just an example of some of the superstars who are coming out of Northern New Mexico College. So we wish Jasmine all the best. And obviously the sky is not even the limit for her. We're excited about her future. And then lastly, let me talk about celebrating the Student Senate. In my 4+ years now here, we have been so blessed with some amazing talent who have gone above and beyond to serve their classmates and to serve this institution. This year there is an energy and a robust kind of excitement that even though we have had some amazing years, I don't think I've ever seen it like this before. And so I wanted you to take a look at the officers for this year's Student Senate. And when I say that they are a group of superstars, I mean they are a group of superstars. And they're incredibly excited about the year, incredibly excited about their opportunity to serve. They've got some really innovative ideas, so you're going to be hearing a lot more about that. Obviously, they're instrumental in this virtual giving tree. They're doing another partnership right now with University of New Mexico at Los Alamos to do some donation drives that are actually going to help some of our local shelters. So they're really, really doing some amazing work already. Expect to hear a lot more from them very soon. Since we have Mr. President with us, Joshua, is there anything you'd like to say to the group?
I would like to mention, I just put in the chat that we do have a new senator, Dolores Sanchez. And just thank you for everything that you guys have done. And we continue to look forward to supporting you guys and being in relation with you guys next semester to support the students at Northern New Mexico College.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate that. We very much look forward to seeing Dolores and meeting her, and excited of what she's going to bring to the team as well. Okay, let's talk a quick update for 2021. First of all, obviously the virus is at the center of what we're doing. I do want to say a special thank you to so many different partners who came together just in the last week or two. El Centro Family Health, Presbyterian Health Services, Rio Arriba County Health and Human Services, the City of Española, the state's National Guard, State Department of Health, State Department of Workforce Solutions. You get the picture of how big this team was. But we were able to put together a daily testing event now. This is 7 days a week from 10 to 2 every day on our Española campus. And so this is a huge turning point, I think, for us, because it's really going to get us the rest of the way there until we can get everyone vaccinated. Here's how we're sacrificing, right? Our piece of this is that we're donating basically the college campus to do this. I don't know if everyone can see my cursor on the screen, but the key for us, and what I would like for you to share with the rest of the community, is that this testing is really a one-way traffic throughout the campus. It's going to enter on Railroad Avenue. So kind of down the road from Angelina's, this is where we're entering, and it's right near the barbering and cosmetology buildings. This is where you're going to enter on Railroad Avenue. By the time you get to the library parking lot, it breaks into 2 lanes so we can make it efficient. It's going to continue after the test. It's going to continue through to the main exit on Paseo. So that's really this one-way flow of traffic. So that means that both of these access points to the college are now completely taken up with this. For students and for faculty and staff who need access and have prior approval to access the campus, it's going to be this north entrance on Paseo that we're going to use, and that you're going to kind of weave your way around by the education building, and then we'll park in the administration parking lot. There's a couple, like Dr. West, there's a couple of other folks who have some alternate plans that we've already worked out, but for the most part, everyone else, we're going to use this. Here's one other thing that I want to keep, and let's just hope we don't need to get there, but we know that our hospitals are really struggling right now, and all over the state, all over the country, really. One of the things that I've been working on with Brenda Romero and with, who's the head of Presbyterian Health Services, and with the Army Corps of Engineers, is that if need be, our Eagle Sportsplex is going to be the auxiliary hospital. Army Corps of Engineers is already thinking about that. Heaven forbid we have to do that, but we need to be ready to do that. And so I want to give special thanks to Coach Cordoba and his staff, to all of our facilities crew for kind of getting this ready. So this is a possibility. If that's the case, now this entrance on Railroad Avenue will be the main entrance, really, for people needing to use this auxiliary hospital. So lot in the works. Here's the other challenge that we have. It is likely that we may be one of the big locations for future vaccinations. So we're going to have to come back to the drawing board and figure out how we're going to balance all of these things. But obviously, we're a place that the community trusts, and so whatever we can do to help the city and the county and the rest of the state, we're going to do it. Spring semester, everything, as we know, is starting online, with a few exceptions, as we did for the fall. So that is pretty much the plan. There are some 8-week options that we're looking at. We kind of said that if by the mid-March timeframe we feel like we can start to do this in person, that is an option. I will tell you, if you've been paying attention to what's happening in Washington, President-elect Biden has said that in his first 100 days, the goal is to get out 100 million doses of the vaccine. If I'm doing that math, and they know that's a big undertaking, but that would still mean that 230 million Americans need vaccine. And that first 100 days, I think, takes us to May 1st, right? Roughly, something like that. So it means that likely, I just want to plant the seeds for this. Likely, we're going to be in this throughout the spring, and so we need to be ready for that. Before we go to vaccinations, one last thing. The other kind of wild card is the hands-on classes for El Rito. Now, I do want to say a special thank you to Dr. Loetta, to Stephen, to Marvin, to John, to Jason, to everyone, Henry, everyone in El Rito, kind of working to make that happen. Obviously, that whole team is kind of on standby. We're having to make sure that we're ready to do this, but we're obviously gonna see how the conditions on the ground improve, and we'll be making those decisions in real time. Okay, vaccinations. This is the blessing of working at Northern New Mexico College for me, and that is that when the rubber meets the road and when we have challenges, our students, our faculty, our staff step up in ways that I always know and I'm excited that they will, but they surprise me all the time. So after a discussion that we had recently about vaccinations, and I was trying to explain, how they work and completely fumbling with it. We have a lot of experts at the college who know exactly how these things work. So I do want to say a special thank you to Dr. West, who put me attached a great link that gave some good information, to Dr. Bashara, who did the same thing, and finally to Dr. Sushmita Nandi, who on her own time actually prepared a video that explains roughly, and for someone like me who doesn't speak the language, explains kind of how these vaccines work. And so I asked for Sushmita's permission to do this, but it's a quick 5-minute video. So I'd like to share that with you as a part of this State of the College address. And again, thank you very much to Dr. Nandi for her diligence and for her volunteering to do this out of her love for all of us and the institution.
This video is made in the public interest. The purpose of this video is to provide background biological information about the COVID-19 vaccine. We believe the information will help raise awareness among community members regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. This video is purely for educational purposes. The COVID-19 pandemic started in late 2019 has shaken the world. The causative agent for COVID-19 is SARS-CoV-2, which stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. This virus has RNA as its genetic material, just the way we have DNA as our genetic material. The RNA is encapsulated in a protein envelope in this virus. It is further surrounded by a lipid membrane that projects the spike proteins. These spike proteins help the virus enter the host, which in this case is us. The spike proteins interact with the ACE receptor on the host cell. Upon entry, the virus hijacks the cells and uses the cellular machinery to produce more of itself and infect more host cells. Recently, positive news about vaccine against SARS-CoV-2 was announced. Vaccines prevent many millions of illnesses and save numerous lives every year. Vaccine is a product that stimulates a person's immune system to produce immunity to a specific disease, protecting the person from that disease. Usually, the vaccines that we get are attenuated form or subunit of infectious agents or pathogens. The vaccine for SARS-CoV-2 is an mRNA or messenger RNA vaccine. It is the first of its kind to reach to this point of human clinical trials. mRNA is the intermediate between DNA and proteins. DNA is a genetic material in our cells. mRNA is generated from DNA, carrying the message to the proteins. Our cells generate thousands of mRNA molecules in the cells at any given point of time. mRNA corresponding to the spike protein of SARS-CoV-2 will be used as the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine mRNA is not from the actual virus, but has been synthetically generated. Also because this is mRNA, it will not enter the cell nucleus where our DNA resides. The SARS-CoV-2 is made up of 29 different types of proteins. Or in other words, 29 different proteins are required to produce the virus. The mRNA vaccine will be generating only one of the 29 viral proteins in our cells. This means that there is theoretically no chance of acquiring the disease as a result of vaccination. Once this mRNA vaccine is administered intramuscularly, the muscle cells will use their cellular machinery to generate this viral spike proteins and stimulate the immune system. The immune system will be stimulated as it will recognize the viral spike protein as foreign. The synthetic RNA corresponding to the viral spike protein has been designed for maximum efficacy in terms of protein production in the cells. The half-life of the mRNA in cells is short, meaning the RNA would degrade in the cells soon. This also means that the vaccine mRNA will be degraded in the cells by regular mechanism for RNA degradation. The immune system will get a preview of the virus and will be ready with its army of immune cells to fight the virus next time it encounters it. Thank you for watching this video. Please do not forget to wear your mask and maintain social distancing. For further questions, please email at sushmita.nandi@nnmc.edu.
Okay. I'm going to stop there. Thank you to Sushmita for that fantastic video. Sushmita, you are a superstar. Thank you for doing that for all of us. I want to stop there. Let's open this up because I know that there are a lot of questions, and let's discuss the vaccine and what your thoughts are, advice that you all have. Ken, James, I don't know if there's a way to kind of open this up, but I'd like to see, not just in chat, but if anyone has anything you'd like to say. And I know we have a lot of people who study this, who understand the biology in the way that Sushmita does. So please let us know if there's some other things that you want to mention, add to the conversation.
Dr. Bailey,
Please.
can I just say one thing? Just when we made this video, it was like 2 days back, and actually, I think yesterday, late evening, or today, we actually have the complete report from Pfizer about the phase 3 trial, and it's a 92-page report, long report. So I've been trying to read it, but yes, it gives us a lot of information about the safety and efficacy of the virus, and I can share the link of the report with you, Dr. Bailey. So if you want, you can share it further.
That would be great, Dr. Nandi. Thank you. And likely I will need you to translate it for me.
Sure.
As you did this. So, and tell me if I get anything wrong, please. So likely we are talking about two different vaccines. They're going to happen 3 to 4 weeks apart, whether it's the Pfizer or the Moderna or even the ones who come after. What we are hearing from in the media is that the first dose of this, when you get it, will give you some immunity. But they don't know. There's two question marks. One is how long will that immunity last, just off of the first dose, and the second is they can't yet say for certain that just one dose of this vaccination means that you cannot now continue to propagate the virus. So that's why they are insisting on 2. The other issue is there have been a few people with severe allergies who had some challenges with this in the UK. As you know, they started vaccinating there a couple of days ago. But other than that, there are no, at least right now, no severe side effects. There is some numbness, some pain in the arm, I think, where you get the injection, which happens, I think, for a lot of different vaccinations. but no other long-term or serious issues. Has anyone heard anything different than that?
Dr. Bailey, what you
Please.
said is exactly right. Like, so the report that I'm looking at, which Pfizer just announced, the first dose of vaccine is kind of giving around 52%, efficacy, and which is good for one dose. But the second dose is giving efficacy of 95%. So that is mentioned in the final report. Yes. So two doses are essential.
Yeah, so great question from April in the chat is that how long after the vaccine is received does it become effective?
So generally, all vaccines and faculty from our department or from the nursing department can please, add information to what I'm saying. Usually every vaccine takes 2 weeks because the antibody production in our immune system takes 2 weeks time. And so is the same for this. If you look into the report and if you look into the graph that they have shown for efficacy, just at 2 weeks, they can see some antibody titer for the virus.
Beautiful. Okay. And Carmela asked, is the vaccine just the one time or is it seasonal like the flu shot? So obviously we're going to have these 2 doses, Sushmita, but is this something that we can expect to have to get every year?
I don't think I have all the information to answer this question right now. And actually, Pfizer is still continuing the trial. We don't know yet how long the immunity will last. So the data that it has, the data that Pfizer has put out doesn't tell us how long the immunity will last. And depending upon that, this question can be answered, I think. So we don't know yet how long the immunity will last after the second dose.
Okay, and Michael asked, is there any possible reaction with medications that people are on? Does this have any kind of any kind of reaction with other medications that people may be on?
Probably this is a good question for people with clinical experience, and I don't think I should be answering this question.
Okay,
Yeah.
Safe answer, Sushmita, because I have no idea, Michael. And does anyone, would anyone from our nursing department like to take a stab at that?
Dr.
Yeah,
Bailey,
Dr.
yes, hi. Most vaccines do not have a connection with the medication. They more have problems with allergic reactions. So that's so historically that has been extremely limited. But of course, we're rolling this vaccine out rather quickly. We need a lot more data, and usually there is a lot more data before we roll these vaccines out. So this is rather quick. So at this time, we just don't know. But historically, they have not really interacted with other standard medications, blood pressure medications, those kinds of things, insulins, those kinds of things usually have not been the case. But there are a lot of long-term questions that we're just going to have to wait and see. There are no answers for right now.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Armstrong. Okay. And from Dr. Beatty, does anyone know what the carry fluid is? Oh, so because I know that there are people who are allergic to vaccines that are egg-based or that are driven by that. Does anyone have an answer to that?
Yeah, so Teresa, as I was reading the report today again, they mentioned that this vaccine, the synthetic mRNA, is encapsulated in lipid bilayer, and they're using that as a delivery mechanism. It's quite common, and it helps the uptake of the vaccine in the cells. It increases the uptake rate of the mRNA in our cells too. So then, in short, to answer your question, they're using a lipid bilayer to deliver the mRNA to the cells.
And so does that mean that people with an egg allergy would be able to take this vaccine?
That's correct, because this vaccine is not commercially manufactured in eggs, as most of the vaccines are. So this is just the mRNA that is a small strand, and it's synthetically designed, and it's generated. So no, nothing to do with the egg. Yes.
Okay. And and by the way, Sushmita, thank you for answering all these questions, because none of them I can answer. So Dr. West asked, can you explain a lipid bilayer?
Oh, wow, that's pretty, it's, well, so we can say that if you have seen soap bubbles, it's more like a soap bubble thing. And if we look at electronically, using electron microscope, we can see those lipid bilayers. So lipids are nothing but fat molecules. If you look at the molecular structure of fat, it has a tail-like structure, which is hydrophilic or water-loving, and it has another end, which is hydrophobic, which is water hating, or which hates water, so, or water repelling. So that is the structure, and it helps encapsulate things, and it is a very good delivery mechanism for DNA or RNA for cells. So cells can easily uptake the material that's encapsulated in the bilayer.
Fantastic. And so Dr. West says, so thank you. So basically it is similar to a fat.
Yes, I mean, it's a double layer, yes, double layer of fat, but fat is a very general term. It's, we have to find out what kind of fat they're using. That I am not aware of at this point.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. Let me say a few final comment, and thank you again, Dr. Nandi, for your effort, and thank you for your service to us and to our community on this. I think that really helps. In fact, just so all of you know, and Dr. Nandi's been gracious enough, we're actually going to put that video online. So we'll share that on our social media platforms. Sandy will share that with the community so that this can be open for anyone who has any questions about it. One of the questions that we're grappling with, and I just want to be very clear with you, obviously we have to do our part in terms of how we help the community. I want, and I could be overstepping my bounds and maybe leaning a little too far forward in the skis, which I do from time to time. I would like to make especially once the vaccine's available and we can give it for free to everybody, I want to make getting the vaccine a prerequisite for physical presence on the campus. Now, there may be case-by-case exceptions. You know, if we did, as Teresa pointed out, there may be people who just absolutely cannot get it, and we will be respectful of that. But for those who can, we're going to need to do the things that we need to do to make sure that we're keeping everyone else safe and the community safe. So those are things that I'm trying to explore how we do that. And obviously I'd love your feedback on that as well. But just so you know my thinking, that's where I think we need to start thinking in terms of getting this out to everybody. The other thing we can do is be the role models, right? If we get it, we're going to do Facebook Live events. We're going to do whatever we can to do to say, hey, this is what we need to do to take care of each other. We need to get this. And I know we have a lot of experts here on the call, but my understanding is that this virus is going to continue to propagate unless we have a certain percentage, and it's a large percentage of our community gets this vaccine. That this virus will continue to propagate. It'll continue to spread unless we are very, very serious about getting a large percentage of our population vaccinated. Sushmita, anything you'd add to that?
Actually, no, but I just have offered Dr. Bailey to, keep updating our videos for general public, and as we get more information about the vaccine, about the safety and efficacy, so we will work towards that. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Beautiful. No, thank you, Dr. Nandi. And Ellen asked you a great question about what agency is going to be in charge of administering. Not sure yet, Ellen. I have a feeling it will be a partnership very similar to the one we just did. So I have a feeling National Guard's going to get involved. I think even the U.S. military might be involved. Likely we are going to be one of those anchors for the community, and we may be kind of organizing the logistical trail, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's another large partnership to include Presbyterian, El Centro, Department of Health, National Guard, Rio Arriba County. I think there'll be a lot of folks. And I also know that, and we've had several members of our faculty and staff who, especially those who are already licensed to give vaccines, that have already stepped up and offered to help, which is fantastic. And so, including some of your folks, Ellen, so thank you for that. So yeah, I think at that point, it's all hands on deck and whatever we need to do to get this out to as many people as possible. And again, we need to be thoughtful about the priority system, right? So those with pre-existing conditions, our nursing students, our nursing faculty, our frontline workers, our facilities folks, security, custodial staff, we're going to need to, depending on how we get this vaccine, we're going to need to be thoughtful about how we distribute as well. Okay, I'm going to go back to Sharon. Any other questions, please don't hesitate, and we can continue to discuss them. Okay, so here is where we are. FY22 budget considerations. The legislature is going to meet mid-January. We've already had a few Legislative Finance Committee hearings. The budget is, because of the virus, because of the challenges of the price of oil, there's several different variables, but New Mexico's still in a tough spot in terms of the budget. And that means Northern's in a tough spot in terms of budget. Now, I think we're better off than, actually not just better off the most, I'm going to say we're better off than every other college right now because of what you all did, because of how strong our enrollment is. All of those things have helped. But there is still this challenge. Sorry for the alphabet soup here, but just to explain it, Legislative Finance Committee, the State Department of Finance and Administration, which is an executive group, and the Higher Education Department, also an executive group. Each of them come out with their budget recommendations for the coming year. And then the legislature looks at all of those different considerations and then makes a choice based on that, based on those recommendations. So there is going to be some percentage cut. There is discussion about restoration of the federal fund swap, which is really important for us. That's money that the CARES Act gave out for institutions last year that the state appropriated and did a swap to help them last year. That we're hoping that will be restored, which will soften the blow for us in many ways. But at the end of the day, we are looking at an instruction in general percent cut, which is the overall kind of budget. And then research programs and special projects. Those are all the below the line budget items like Veterans Resource Center, our athletic program, nursing enhancement. There are several different programs that we have that are under the line. Those also may have a specific percent cut. So we're trying to limit all of those as much as we can. And we'll know more probably in January or February. And I'll obviously be letting you know. So in the meantime, what we are doing is looking, okay, knowing that we're going to be in a tough spot here, knowing the budget's going to be tough. What are those things that we absolutely need to prioritize in a resource constrained environment? It's not anything new to us. These are challenges that we've had from the beginning. I do want to lay out a couple that are on my radar that are very personal for me that I think are incredibly important for the institution. One is equity and diversity. Obviously, Dr. Trujillo left. We need to, that work does not stop, right? The importance of that does not end. We need to work hard to make sure that we are refilling that I have to be careful, not necessarily refilling that exact position, but we definitely need to do that work. And likely that means just finding someone to do that work. But we're open to ideas on that as well. Second is the Native American Student Center. For a lot of you who have been here for a long time, we used to have the American Indian Center that was incredibly important, not just in terms of students from Pueblos, but from a few of the nations. And that was a really, really important part for our students. I really want to continue to fight for that. Regis Pecos, for those who know him, he's actually working on a legislative bill and is including this in that bill, which is fantastic. So we'll obviously be advocating for that. But we need to look at if that bill doesn't happen, how we continue to fight to make that happen. And then lastly, grants management. And this is something that probably is not on your radar, a lot of you. But the more grants we have, it's great, right? We bring this extra funding in. But the way we've done business in the past is we have put more and more of the bureaucratic hurdles on one person at this institution. And it's really just incredibly unfair to her. We've got to make sure that our process is built in a way so that the mechanisms to help make sure that we are meeting the obligations of the grants, that we have that infrastructure in place. So because we're really at the breaking point now where we can't continue to bring more grant funding in if we don't have the mechanisms to be able to carry out the goals of subrecipient monitoring and all those other things that we have to do for many grants. So, and we know that with the challenge of the budget, grants are really important, right? We supplement what we get from the state and from philanthropy and everything else with grants. And so we don't want to lose that capability. Okay, let's talk about communication strategy. And I want to share, these are things that I think we've really been focusing on. And the pandemic in some ways has given us some room to explore and do some different things. We started something called the College Monthly Roundtable. Some of you have already participated. It happens on the first Friday of the month. Amy schedules people way in advance for that. There's a mix of faculty and staff who are part of this. There is no agenda. It's basically just whatever the group wants to discuss. And it's really been, we've had 2 so far, and they've been really useful and eye-opening for us. And so I'm excited about where that's going. It basically gives everyone at this college at least once a year a chance to take the gloves off and say, hey, Rick, here's some things that we need to think about. The minutes for those are posted online or will be very soon. And then there'll be a way to kind of follow up, ask any other questions that you have. One of the things that we're considering, and this came from this last monthly roundtable, there may be for future events, because it happens on the first Friday, that 2 weeks prior to that, the people who are invited to that upcoming monthly roundtable, they may actually have a separate meeting without me and without the administration, just to say, hey, what do we want to talk about? We have this opportunity. What are we going to do? And that way, they actually go in as a unit of faculty and staff all together, coming to present some ideas. So, anyways, it's evolving in a beautiful way. I love it. Update videos. I have been told, this is from a dear friend of mine, that, so I think I don't know how many we've done so far now, probably 24. But in the last update video, I actually had a piece of paper that I put in front of my face to show the map. And he told me that was the best moment of any of your update videos is when you covered your face. So that has kept me humble. But I am getting good feedback that it's a way that all of you are being able to kind of stay in tune with what's going on at the college. So we'll continue to do those. If you have any suggestions for how to make those better, other than to cover my face more, then by all means, let me know, because I would love that feedback. Sandy and her team are working on a newsletter, and we're hoping that comes out probably in the spring. And the idea is to include a column there from the Student Senate so that they can share with you some things that are going on. It would include all of the specials for the following week at the cafeteria so that people kind of know what's going on with that. And then highlighting a faculty member, some new research someone's doing, a book that's coming out. We want to celebrate all the things that all of you are doing. And there would be kind of a common calendar. Hey, here's some upcoming events that we want to put on your radar. That's still in development. So by all means, and I know I speak for Sandy on this, please share with us some ideas that you have and what you'd like to see. That is going to be a digital newsletter that will go out. I want to say special thanks to Sandy for this. We did create some blogs. There's some ways to basically ask the president. It's completely anonymous. The students have really taken advantage of it, and they actually, because we've had it for almost a year, and they've been really good about opening up any questions and things that they see. But now recently, faculty and staff have started to use it. We have a separate platform for them. And they've been great. And actually, Sandy's been posting those on the web so that even if you ask an anonymous question, likely there are other people who have the similar question. So we post the question and the answer on the website. And then I want to say a special thanks to the Sharing Governance Group. This is something that really formed organically. Dr. Winter had a huge hand in it. Dr. Beatty's really done a great job taking over. And this is a group of faculty and staff and administrators who get together and in a safe place on a first name basis and work as a group in a really respectful way to look at how we can all be better to each other. And so that continues to move. Teresa, tell me if I'm saying anything inappropriate here, but I know that she's open to you know, inviting more to this group. If you would like to be a part of this, please send her an email, and we'll let you know when the next meeting is. Before I stop on communication strategy, let me ask Sandy, Teresa, anyone else, is there anyone else that would like to say any comments on communication?
Just real quickly, I'd like to say that our next meeting is December 17th, which is next week. So if anybody's interested in, you don't even have to join shared governance. If you just want to show up and see what it's all about and then make a decision, just let me know. Just send me an email.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Beatty. Anyone else?
Well, I just wanted to say that Alejandra and I met today to talk about how to about the newsletter, and so stay tuned. Check your email, and we'll be talking about first steps really soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandy. Anyone else on communication? Okay. Let me get to the chat really quick. Rachel had asked about the outlook for New Mexico availability. Very good question, Rachel. To me, there were several different, we're getting conflicting information. Pfizer had actually identified New Mexico as one of the first 4 states that were going to get the vaccines, and that there were, of 20 million, I think was going to be the first group. And, you know, obviously there are only 2 million people here in New Mexico. So maybe that's why we were one of the first ones picked. If that's the case, I think we will have more, we will have this far sooner than June. I think that likely we will have more than that. My last discussions with Brenda Romero, they're actually working on trying to get all of Presbyterian's employees vaccinated within the next month or two. And that's 180,000 people. So I do think that the train is moving, and in a good way. Like I said, though, if President-elect Biden, if we meet his goal that he's given out, his ambitious goal, then by May 1st, we still only have 1/3 of our population nationally vaccinated. Could be very different here in New Mexico, because it might be quicker for us to do it. But I think likely it's going to take us the better part of the spring. And then Coach Cordoba, Nota Big A Foundation. Hey, thank you for that. Yeah, I've heard the same, and we're looking into all kind of possibilities. But I would ask you, Ryan, if you don't mind, let's talk offline about that. Maybe we make that inroad to them. I think that would be fantastic. Okay, let's get back. I think we're almost done. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Okay. Value proposition. I spend most of my day and every day bragging about this college. It's what I do for a living. It's very easy for me to do it because I love this place. I love all of you. I love what you do. Our students are worth it. And you've heard me talk about inflection points and how we're at an inflection point. And I think as we look at our strategic direction, the amazing progress we've made as an institution, we're at that point now where we need to spring forward. And so I've been reflective during these last 9 months about, and I think a lot of you have too. You've had time where you're not always traveling or on the road or dealing with something going on in the office. And so we've had more time to think. And one of the things that I would love to get your advice on is our value proposition. What is it about Northern New Mexico College? What is our value proposition? It seems like a simple question, but it's actually probably a fairly complex answer that hopefully we can wrap into something that's actually fairly straightforward. We are in the process of developing a new website, which is fantastic. I think whatever we decide as that value proposition, I think we are going to have a visual depiction of that value proposition as the front page of that website. I think there will be a visible manifestation of what we decide together is our value proposition. I think it'll also lead to possibly reviewing our mission and vision statements and considering revisions on those. I think it should inform everything we do. And so what I'd like to do is propose propose that we set some time aside in January, and that way I'm giving, this is your homework assignment, so that you have a month now to think about this, to think about our value proposition. If for those who remember when we built the strategic direction 4 years ago, I always remember Jimmy Montoya saying, "We care." That's the thing. That's the thing about why do students go to other colleges, bigger universities, and come back to Northern? It's because faculty know their name, they know their family. When you walk into a student services office, they know who you are and they will bend over backwards to help you. You know, those are things that make this place special. But how do we say that? How do we say that? I want us to think about that. And then here's the other thing. When we do kind of agree on that, then we follow through on it, right? We don't drop any balls, right? We need to follow through and make sure that we are living up to what we say, who we say we are. So I'm going to ask Amy to kind of set that up. It's going to be completely voluntary, by the way. It'll be optional. But if you want to have a say in this, then we would love your voice. Very similar to the way we did the strategic direction. That was not mandatory, and yet we had 140 people show up. And that's what I'm hoping that we'll do on this, so that we can have a say in what we're building for the future. Okay, that's a lot. Let me stop there and we'll open it up for questions, comments, thoughts. Anyone have anything? I'm going to go over to, let me check the chat real quick. So Dr. West talked more about the vaccines. I think you're right. Yes, there's still a lot of question marks. I think this is going to be a rapidly evolving thing, though. So I think once we come back from the holidays, I think we're going to have a much better picture of what that vaccination logistical trail looks like and how it's going to be distributed. Okay.
Rick, I have, President, I have a question.
Please.
So my question is, being with the legislature coming up and possible cuts to ING and RPSPs again, I know you took a hit. ING took a hit. RPSPs in athletics took a significant hit.
Yeah.
What are the steps maybe Judith's office or the foundation, what are the steps that they're taking to maybe assist with some of those cuts? I know I used to serve on the foundation, and the idea was if I stepped off the foundation board, we would be able to possibly have some kind of roll through, even help with athletics from the foundation. And in fact, it actually worked opposite for me. Since I stepped off the foundation, Northern hasn't seen any money from the foundation, in athletics for a couple of years. So what are steps maybe that they can help with?
Yeah, so good question, Coach. Let me start, and then I'll if Judith wants to add anything, and I also this is fantastic because we have Alfred and Tanya here from the foundation board. So let me start with some good news. So the foundation corpus is in the strongest position it's ever been, right now. So we just crested $4 million in the corpus, which is fantastic. Here's the challenging part. The foundation and the college have always had this relationship built on a memorandum of agreement, which says, hey, the college is going to pay for the foundation to do X, Y, Z, hire an executive director, operational budget, all these other things. In return, the foundation is going to raise enough in scholarships to help students. It was built on a premise back in 2005 that B would always be greater than A, right? It was built on this assumption that it would raise more than it spent. And for over a decade, that just didn't happen. And that's not poking anyone in the eye. That's just the reality of what it was. So that put us in a really difficult position. And so I had to make this very, very difficult decision 2 years ago now to basically take the operational budget of the foundation to zero, to step in and serve, in addition to being president, to serve as a de facto executive director. And then we would, because we couldn't spend money, the college couldn't spend money on foundation, then we turned around and said, okay, well then we're going to raise money for the college. So Judith doesn't work for the foundation. Judith works for the college. And so the President's Eagle Fund, which is huge and really did a lot of great things, that has been a college initiative so that we could allow the foundation and the assets of the foundation to grow. The other thing that we did, as you know, is we put aside money in our budget to say, we don't want students to be affected by this. So we're going to give out we're going to give out money in the form of student discounts as part of the annual budget of the college. We've never done anything like that before. And so for the last 2 years in a row, since I made that decision, we've actually given out more scholarship money than in the history of the college. So all those things are good. Your point is well taken. So here's the challenge that we've had. And I think a solution. Yes, so what this has done is now opened the door. There is I do think there is an opportunity for us to explore a booster club, for us to explore specific athletic focused philanthropy, which I think will be helpful. And I do think that there'll be an appetite for that in our community. It's just a matter of us actually getting together and putting the mechanisms in place to make that happen. Let me stop there. Judith, Alfred, Tanya, anything you'd like to add to that?
What I would say, and everything Rick has said, is protocol and systematic challenges to raise money. But what I would say, Ryan, is if you've got some specific needs, athletic needs, that you create a list and what the costs, your projected costs would be, and then you and Rick and I could look at that and determine if there is an avenue that we could create some kind of athletic initiative to raise money. It's very difficult, and Dr. Bailey, I would say if a club or a group of people are to be formed to raise that money, there needs to be some protocol with that, and I'm happy to work with that. But I just want to make sure that everybody, and particularly you, Ryan, because it's such a great opportunity, it's a great question, understand that the need has to match the initiative, and we have to be able to be very explicit with what we're raising money for the college. That I don't want to get real.
No, I understand. There's a different meeting. There's a different meeting for that. I was just, and mine wasn't even necessarily geared just towards athletics. Mine was talking about even some of the deficits that like ING would take a hit, and you hate to take positions, or you hate to take those things. And so I really like that. I was just curious as to how much your office and how much the foundation office is able to help maybe offset some of those losses that we could potentially take a hit in. And I'm sure Ricky's all over. I mean, I'm sure he's already got a plan, because he's really good about thinking things through ahead of time. And so I was just curious as to, the pressure in both of those offices and how it might be able to help Northern, especially if we do take those, another 2% or 6% cut in ING or athletics.
Yeah, no, it's fair. And I know that's the challenge. There is a temptation to say, oh, well, let's just, let's take money from the foundation and then let's supplement to kind of soften the blow.
Yeah.
So here's the hard part of that. One, the money that's in the foundation, almost all of it is tied to very specific donor requests. And this is going to come as a shocker. None of them said, "Hey, we'd like to, when the state takes money, we'd like to be able to be your cushion." We don't have any donors who have agreed to that. So, but I do think that, and Judith's right. We all need, and this isn't just athletics. This is for everybody. We need to be very thoughtful about how we strategize the relationships with donors and how we go after specific things. And there are a lot of needs out there. But I do think for athletics, for other groups that are with very specific mission sets, I think we could have a kind of a larger, and this is something we could set up in the spring, but a larger strategy meeting, with Judith, with me, with a group, maybe even with the foundation board, to say, hey, here's some very specific things that I think we'd like to do. Because then we can actually look at our panoply of partners and donors and say, you know what, we know that these are donors that we would probably like specifically to focus in some of these areas. And I'd be very much open to that conversation.
Thank you.
Alfred, Mr. President, anything you'd like to add to that from the foundation board side?
No, not right now. I think you all pretty well covered it. I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of your meeting here. It's been very, very informative for me, by the way.
Good. Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate you and Tanya and everyone on the board. We appreciate your service to the foundation. Like I said, I think the foundation's even in the midst of the challenges that we faced a few years ago, I think we're in a better position than we've ever been. So yeah, Ryan, hold me to that. We'll have that. Let's set up that dialogue in the spring. Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Okay, so this might be the last chance that we are all combined here together. So let me please take a moment on behalf of everyone at the college to wish you and everyone you love a wonderful, beautiful, joyous holiday season. Thank you for everything that you do for our students, for our community, for our institution. We're sending love, and please be safe. Obviously, we're not out of this yet. We all need to be taking care of each other. So limit how joyous your holidays are, please, or find creative ways to gather virtually if you can. All right, everybody. God bless you. Thanks for everything. Have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you all soon.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Yep.
Bye.
Holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ken, James, thank you both very much. Appreciate it as always.
Not a problem. That's a wrap, Rick. We're going to shut it down.
All right. Hey, and if you don't mind, Ken, would you send me and Amy a link to the recording? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Have a great day, everybody.
Yep.